Your streaming been working pretty well? Oh, yeah. Does it work out? Yeah. We're doing it for these two.
Using Facebook for this one because I got the extra.
But it doesn't matter. We go.
Yeah. Keep her stationary as long as possible.
That's fine with me.
I heard you talking about my wife.
We usually turn them down to this video, and then when I come back on, turn it up a little bit.
Yeah. Right now, it's not the great of it because hard for I shoot at night, but to get last year I actually brought a little light really going on someone was at the light. It helped a little, it didn't help.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Hey, Chief. Ain't that the truth? I'm going to wear one tomorrow night, I promise. Hey, they told me you don't have the air conditioning for me tomorrow night.
Well, there was some discussion about making just an area where you were going to sit to have air conditioning air bells.
And you went like that for that.
No.
I wouldn't do anything for me, but This year's class of the Nelsonville-York Hall of Fame, like the last few years, is quite spread out. We head back to 1954 to grab one of our inductees, and we go clear up to 2015 for a couple more, with a few in between. Our class totals 9 this year, who represent some of the finest Buckeyes in our history. I mentioned a few years back that I had watched, played alongside, coached, or been coached by every single inductee present. That's not the case this evening. As old as I am, there are a couple guys who predate even me, but the rest of you, I know who you are. And if I'm unable to recall all of your career highlights, I'll make up what I need to. So if I say something about you that doesn't ring true, just go with it. Tough. Deal with it. When we first started this Hall of Fame back in 2017, our goal was to induct athletes in individual sports. We quickly found out that was going to be a bit difficult. Turns out Nelsonville-York athletes are just that, athletes. And in most cases, have represented our school and started in multiple sports during their time. So while we may focus on one sport, we hope to bring up all of your accomplishments during your time in our school system and beyond. Each of you here tonight deserve to be in the Nelsonville-York Athletic Hall of Fame. And when your name is called this evening, we would love for you to take a few minutes and give us a quick reflection on your time here at NY, what it meant to you, where you're at now, and what you're up to. And of course, those you'd like to thank for making your induction tonight a reality. That being said, we line up everybody by luck of the draw, so if you get to be first up here tonight, believe me, it's entirely coincidental. And congratulations. It's on you to set the tone for the whole evening. So let's start with a couple of legends who have left us. Last year we began a new category of Hall of Famers as we developed a plaque dedicated to graduates in our school system who went on to play professional sports. Through our research, we were able to come up with 5 of our graduates who had gone on to play professional baseball. One obvious one to us, and the most decorated of them all, we left out. And we left out for a reason. We couldn't verify that he was a graduate of one of our high schools. Over this past year, as we poured through the record books, and we spoke to many people, and we found out and determined that this superstar and champion of our area did indeed graduate from Carbon Hill High School. And tonight he takes his place in our professional players category. Estel Crabtree was at various times in his life. He lived in Crabtree, Ohio, Carbon Hill, and Nelsonville. He is indeed a graduate of Carbon Hill High School, and he grew up in the early 1900s when baseball was not just a way to pass the time, but it was a way of life. And he made it his. Crabby, as he was known, stands as one of the most accomplished professional athletes ever produced by this area. And he played along with the likes of Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb. He holds the record for most time between major league appearances, spanning a full 8 years. Making his major league debut with the Cincinnati Reds in 1929, the speedy center fielder annually was among the league leaders in putouts and triples. In 1933, he was traded to the St. Louis Cardinals, played for them for 1 year, and began an odyssey unheard of in today's game. In a 16-team league, compared to today's 30 teams, and with major league jobs scarce, he returned to the minors, and for the next 8 years would log over 1,595 games, eventually being named player-coach of the Rochester Red Wings, where in 1989, he was inducted into their Hall of Fame. He made his return to the major leagues 8 years later with the Cardinals in 1941 at the age of 37. He hit .341 that year and garnered several votes for National League Most Valuable Player. He came back to the Reds the following year and concluded his major league career 3 years later at the age of 41 with 489 games, a 281 batting average, and a 976 fielding percentage. He returned to Nelsonville after his playing days and established himself as one of the town's finest citizens, developing the town's baseball program, serving as president of the Band Boosters, and starting the town's annual Old Timers Day Festival. That still remains today, and it's held on his namesake, Crabtree Field. Passing away in 1967 at the age of 63, Estel Crabtree remains the most accomplished Major League Baseball player of our area, and his impact on our Nelsonville-York community can be felt to this day. Ladies and gentlemen, I present as an inductee into the professional category of the Nelsonville-York Athletic Hall of Fame, Mr. Estel Crabtree. Our first Hall of Fame inductee tonight is the 1954 graduate of Nelsonville High School. In this year's Hall of Fame class, the late Bob Pack is honored as our legacy inductee, representing one of the former pre-consolidated school districts that came together for what is now Nelsonville-York City Schools. As a Greyhound, Bob earned 3 varsity letters in both football and basketball, leaving behind a career that helped shape the early foundation of athletes in this community. In the early years of Nelsonville High School athletics, multi-sports athletes like Bob Pack stood out as the standard for what it meant to compete with pride and toughness. On the football field, he contributed as a dependable tight end and leader for the Greyhounds. And by his senior season, he had earned all SEOAL recognition, making him one of the top players in the league. But it was on the basketball court where Bob truly shined. As a sophomore, he joined a Greyhound program that carried high expectations and a roster filled with experienced talent. Playing time was not guaranteed, and opportunities had to be earned. But through determination, talent, and a strong competitive drive, Bob not only worked his way onto the team, he became part of one of the most successful seasons in school history. The 1951-52 Greyhound basketball team made a historic run all the way to the state championship game, finishing as state runner-up in what remains one of the greatest seasons in Nelsonville High School history, and one of the most memorable in Southeast Ohio history. Bob contributed to that success as part of the rotation, earning meaningful minutes and making an impact with timely scoring and rebounding. He finished the season with 234 points and earned honorable mention all SEOAL recognition. As a junior, Bob stepped into a much larger role as one of the team's key returning players. With increased responsibility, he helped guide the Greyhounds through another strong season, even as they fell short of repeating the previous year's deep tournament run. Still, his individual performance continued to rise as he scored 291 points, averaging over 15 per game. For his efforts, he was named first team All SEOAL and received honorable mention All State honors. But by his senior year, Bob had become the centerpiece of the Greyhound basketball program. With leadership, experience, and confidence, he delivered one of the most dominant seasons in school history. He scored 469 points on the year, including 395 points in league play alone. He averaged 24.4 points per game. In 19 games that season, he failed to reach 20 points only 4 times, a level of consistency that defined his senior campaign. By the end of his senior season, Bob Pack had established himself as one of the top scorers and rebounders in Southeast Ohio basketball. He was named first team All SEOAL and second team All Ohio, capping off a stellar Greyhound career. From contributing as a sophomore on a state runner-up team to becoming the leading scorer in the region as a senior, Bob Pack's career represents an early foundation for Nelsonville-York High School athletics. His accomplishments help set the stage for generations of Greyhound and Buckeye athletes who followed in his footsteps. Ladies and gentlemen, I present for induction into the Nelsonville-York Athletic Hall of Fame, the late Mr. Bob Pack. And now for our inductees who are here with us this evening. Inductees, after you're done with your talks, if you would, move to this part of the stage to receive your plaque, and we'll take your picture with your plaque also. Our next inductee, and first here in person with us tonight, is a 1999 graduate of Nelsonville-York High School. A standout athlete during her playing days as a Buckeye, Amanda Dalton Wiseman enters our Hall of Fame not only for her performance as a player, but for the lasting impact she made as a coach, leader, and builder of the Nelsonville-York girls basketball program. As a player, Amanda represented the Buckeyes with consistency and excellence. She was twice named to the Tri-Valley Conference All-Academic Team, and as a senior, she emerged as the team's leading scorer at 14.9 points per game. That season, she earned first team All-Tri-Valley Conference, second team All-District recognition, and honorable mention All-State, closing her playing career as one of the top players in our region. But what came next truly defines her legacy in Nelsonville-York athletics. When Amanda took over the girls basketball program through the 2009-2010 season, she stepped into a role that came with both opportunity and challenge. Hall of Famer and all-time scoring standout Kim Kline had just graduated, and the Buckeyes were entering a period of transition. What followed was not an immediate turnaround, but a steady, intentional rebuilding process built on culture, discipline, and belief. In her first 2 seasons coaching a young and developing squad, the Buckeyes combined for 11 wins. But those early years laid the foundation for what would become one of the most successful stretches in program history. Over her final 4 seasons at the helm, Amanda led Nelsonville-York to a 63-36 record, establishing sustained success that elevated the program to a new level. And during that span, the Buckeyes became one of the most competitive teams in the Tri-Valley Conference and consistently challenged the top programs in the region. Overall, Amanda finished her coaching career with a 74-57 record over 6 seasons, and she led the Buckeyes to heights previously unknown. In 2014, she guided Nelsonville-York to a historic breakthrough, defeating South Point to capture the Division III District Championship, the first district title in program history in either boys or girls basketball. More than a decade later, that championship remains the only district basketball title in school history, a milestone that stands as one of the defining achievements in Buckeye athletics. The following season, Nelsonville-York posted a 21-4 record, the most wins in a single season in program history. And at one point, they won 16 consecutive games. The Buckeyes once again advanced to the district finals before falling to a juggernaut Ironton squad, continuing a standard of excellence that had become the expectation under Amanda's leadership. Across her final 2 seasons, the Buckeyes compiled a remarkable 38-10 record and finished second in the Tri-Valley Conference Ohio Division, narrowly missing a league title in a highly competitive area that included programs led by elite talent such as Athens standout Dominic Dosey. While a conference championship narrowly eluded them, the foundation Amanda helped build positioned the program for continued success and a belief in the program that ultimately led to future league and postseason achievements. Her leadership and enthusiasm could be seen in the athletes she coached. Among them were 1,000-point scorer Madison Losey, a fellow member of tonight's Hall of Fame class, and Jesse Addis, who would go on to become Nelsonville-York's all-time leading scorer at the time. Coach Dalton Wiseman's ability to develop talent and mold her team together further underscores her impact on the program's long-term success. Her players will tell you she was prepared for every practice, every opponent, through diligent film study, scouting, and preparation. Beyond basketball, Amanda also served the Nelsonville-York community in multiple leadership roles, including as athletic director from 2016 to 2018, and later in educational administration as a principal at Tri-County Career Center. In every role she has had, her commitment to student athletes and education has remained central. Amanda Dalton Wiseman's legacy is defined not only by wins, championships, or records, but by the culture she helped build and the standards she established for Nelsonville-York girls basketball. Through her leadership, her teams competed with pride, toughness, and belief, and her impact continues to be felt by every player who wore a Buckeye uniform under her guidance.
You never doubted for a second when you were one of her players that you and the team were her top priority. You never doubted it because you knew she had your back, and that trust just kind of emanated throughout the team.
She just kind of took me under her wing and made me feel part of the team, along with many of my other teammates. We were just a young class, and she never made us feel young, though. She made us all feel comfortable, confident. She worked us hard, and we did a lot of special things as a team, because we knew that she believed in us.
It's just the way she holds herself as a person. She is always positive. She is always working towards bettering herself and everyone around her. She just wants the best for everyone, and I think that's a really great quality in a coach, because she can see the potential in each player and each person as an individual on and off the court.
She did everything. We were her whole life that it felt like. She poured so much of herself into that program. And the chemistry building, it was stuff that she didn't have to do, like having dinners at her house. As a team, having team building activities outside. I mean, that woman was the queen of getting game tape. We would ride with her, ride separate to go see games, and then get dinner and stuff afterward. And just a lot of what she did built a lot of team chemistry for us. And I think that was the best thing she did as a coach, just because there was so much trust throughout our group.
Not only was she showing us game film, like throughout the week, I knew that I would eventually get a text from her saying, hey, I found this out about this player that's coming up on the next game. So she was always putting in the work. She was always scouting and figuring out, how we could be better as a team to prepare for the next game. Whether we won or lost, it wasn't like it was over for her. She would watch it back, figure out what we could have done better. So she just had so much work ethic around the game, and she would do anything to help us get better. I remember going to watch an Ohio State basketball practice one time, just like to encourage us or to pick up ideas from other coaches.
Something that's super special to me now is not only was she my assistant coach my junior year, my head coach my senior year, now she is the acting principal at my school, a leader there. She's also coaching my daughter in softball the last 2 years. It's amazing to see that transition, and she's been so steadfast that whole time. She's been the same person, same go-getter attitude, the same positive energy. She's amazing.
I've been coached with someone with that much passion for the team, the players, and the game in any other stage of my life. I just hadn't seen anybody approach it with the passion that she had.
She's going to make you feel special, even if you don't feel special about yourself. And she is going to make you work hard. She's going to help you get better on the court, off the court. She's not going to let anything interfere with the game, but she's going to push you hard, and you know that she's going to believe in you no matter what, even if you don't believe in yourself. And I think that makes her a great coach and an even better person.
she had a bigger impact than you really even could see on the court. That passion and that overall knowledge and things like that, that rippled through the community. That made our basketball program stronger on the girls' side. It's something to be respected now, and I think that that's something she brought.
I'm so thankful that I got to play under her and learn from her and still look up to her. And I'm thankful for all the time that she spent on me as a player and for us as a team.
Amanda, I'm so proud of the person you have been, that you are, that you're becoming. I'm so proud to be your former player, your colleague at school, and your friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present for induction into the Nelsonville-York Athletic Hall of Fame, Mrs. Amanda Dalton Wiseman.
First, thank you. Being inducted into the Nelsonville-York Hall of Fame is an incredible honor. Nelsonville has been such an important part of my life, continues to be, and standing here tonight makes me think about all the people and moments that are part of the reason why I'm here. I'm going to start with one of the most impactful people in my life. It's Vicki McCollum. Vicki coached our basketball team, she coached me in volleyball, but what she did was she had 26 kids on her team, and every kid at the end of the season got a note. I still have my note, and that type of leadership made me the leader I am today. I don't think she knew how much it mattered to me, but it did, and I kept it, I remembered it, and sometimes a few words from the right person in that moment in your life can change the way you see yourself. Her guidance, her encouragement, her honesty, her belief in me made me a better person. She helped shape the person I am and the leader I became. And I'll be forever grateful for her impact. Thank you, Vicki. And then there's John Hurd, my high school basketball coach. Coach was an amazing part of my life. Although I'm pretty sure at one point he threatened to take my firstborn child if I didn't stop freelancing and making it my own place. But the problem was I felt like I knew a little bit more about it, but his compassion, his patience, his empathy still stands with me today, and it's also like how I led my teams was his impact. And he challenged me, he expected something from me, and he, even when I had my own ideas about the offense and how it should run, he still believed in me. So thank you, Coach. I've been incredibly fortunate to have people throughout my life that sharpened me, challenged me, and believed in me, and made me better. Most importantly, my teams. Man, my teams were so fun. They were awesome. We won a lot of games. We had some incredible moments. And if you played for me, you know the end game was we wanted to stomp some major guts. We wanted to beat everybody. And they knew that. They knew that from me. They were tough. My girls they competed. They worked. They weren't afraid of anybody. And I've absolutely loved everything about most of the teams I played, most of the things I coached. When I think about those teams now, the wins really aren't the first thing I think about. I think about the girls, the laughs, the bus rides, the practices, the big games, and all the moments in between. I think about the relationships. I coached so many great girls at Nelsonville-York. One of them is being inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight, Madison Davis. That's pretty special, right? To have coached someone and then years later be standing here today, both being recognized by the same community that supported us once as a coach and a player. One of the most impactful memories for me was the district final. There came a point in the game where I kind of knew we had it won. We were playing South Point, and I called a timeout. And I didn't really need to drop the play. I knew we had it won. But sometimes in sports, like Nelsonville-York especially, like deservingly so, football is the sport, right? The boys are the sport, and they deserve it, right? But our girls were just getting ready to make school history. I had to call the timeout. I had to make sure that they realized that history was important. I wanted them to look up and feel what was happening. I wanted them to see the crowd. It was for them. It was for these girls, these female athletes. I wanted them to hear it. I wanted them to understand what they had accomplished and realize that this moment belonged to them. Because girls' sports are also important. These moments matter to us. They matter to me. The girls that deserve to feel what it felt like to have a community behind them. They deserve to know what the accomplishment was. That needed to be felt. We went to Logan to play in the regional final. I'll never forget the amount of people that were there. It was incredible. The whole town came. Scott McManus had the fire trucks. It was just incredible. But that's what Nelsonville-York was. They provided that community. For those girls to look around and see all the people there who had come to support them meant something. And as their coach, it meant something to me too. Sometimes when you become a coach, you think that you're going to be the one doing all the teaching. And somewhere along the line, you realize that your players are actually teaching you. These girls taught me a lot about resilience, loyalty, trust, and what can happen when young women know someone genuinely believes in them. Basketball was truly a family affair. My sister and Bruce were my statisticians. They were there for me when the wins, the losses, crazy games. I actually think the losses were harder on Becky than they were on me. She'd text me like, you should have done this, you should have done that, you should have taken her out. She had foul trouble, you should have known. One girl made 3 threes, you never adjusted your defense. I mean, there was a lot of things that were really harsh after a game. Right after a game, we're still on the bus. There were a lot of things that were really hard. And then there's my mom. Before every game, my mama would come up and kiss me right on the cheek. Sorry.
You got this.
And it's just a weird thing. She started doing it. Kiss me on the cheek, kiss me on the cheek. Before every game, hey, Bobby. Go get him. Go get him. And I'm so dang proud she's here right now with us tonight. As years go by, those are the things that matter more and more. You don't remember the score. You don't remember, of course I do. I remember every score. You don't remember every possession, but you remember the people who were there with you. And coaching gave me something else that changed my life forever. It gave me Kevin. Kevin was with Dalton's Messenger writing stories.
Those stories ever done on one coach.
They were the best stories. But for some reason, I knew that I wanted to write him in my story, and it happened. And his sweet little smile, he would do these interviews with me after the game. And his sweet smile was something that I just admired so much. I had to beg him a long time for him to come over to hang out, but it worked out, and I'm very thankful. So basketball gave me a lot. Let's see here. So that's really hard to beat. I'm also fortunate enough to be an athletic director for a few years, and it was great. But what made it great was I had great coaches around me. I was a part of the hiring process for Rusty Richards. I've interviewed a lot of people over the years, but Rusty's interview was probably the one where I didn't really have to ask any questions. In fact, by the end of it, Rusty was asking me the questions. And if you know Rusty, that's not surprising at all. But I remember leaving that interview knowing there was something special about him. He knew what he believed, he knew what he wanted for the kids, and he had a vision for what the program could be. I knew he was going to be doing great things. Getting to watch him do exactly that has been pretty incredible. I also was able to support Coach Watkins, and Coach Watkins has some athletes in here that went to the state. I mean, he was an incredible coach, poured into our athletes just the same. So those types of people are easy to be an athletic director with. Coach Matt Yinger. Matt has so many incredible wrestlers, one being inducted tonight, come through his program. Watching these wrestlers compete and having the opportunity to support them was easy, but it was also so much fun. There were some unbelievable matches, we're probably going to see some of those, and some really special moments for NY wrestling. But having these coaches around me, it made being an athletic director easy. There's something about being an athletic director and being a female coach that women's sports need people who believe in them. Girls need coaches, they need administrators, schools, and communities that show up for them. They need people who invest in them, and advocate for them, celebrate them, and make sure that they know that what they're doing matters. I was proud to be one of those people at Nelsonville-York, and I'm still proud to do that today, but just in a different capacity. I hope something that I've carried with me throughout my career, believing in people, giving people opportunities, seeing something in someone, and helping them see it in themselves. In Luke chapter 12, verse 48, it says, "To whom much is given, much will be required." I've been given a lot. I've been given a lot of great mentors, great coaches, great players, great colleagues, an incredible family. I've been given great, incredible opportunities I could never have imagined when this journey started. And I hope I've done something worthwhile with these opportunities. I hope somewhere along the way, I was able to be for someone else that Vicki and John were for me. I want to thank Nathan Dean and the entire Hall of Fame committee. You're just beautiful people doing amazing things for this community. The work we do to preserve the history of Nelsonville-York and recognize the people who have been part of it matters. Thank you for giving your time to this community, and thank you for giving me this honor. I'm incredibly humbled to be a part of this Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. Our next inductee is a 1993 graduate of Nelsonville-York High School. During his time as a Buckeye, Jeromy Sheets earned 7 varsity letters, competing in football, wrestling, and baseball. He excelled in every sport he played and cemented his place among the greatest athletes in Buckeye history. When people talk about great defenses in Nelsonville-York history, one team always enters the conversation. The 1992 Buckeyes, led by Hall of Fame coach, defensive coordinator, Coach Tom McLaughlin, and loaded with Hall of Fame talent, including Tony Breeze, Jason and Justin Gale, and now Jeromy Sheets. That defense established a standard that has stood the test of time. Despite being undersized compared to many of his opponents on the field, Jeromy played with the toughness and determination that made him one of the most feared defenders on the field. The results speak for themselves. In 1992, the Buckeye defense surrendered just 28 points the entire season, allowing only 2.8 points per game, a school record that still stands today. Jeromy was a major contributor to that historic unit, starting 2 seasons at linebacker and becoming one of the most disruptive defensive players of his era. Over the course of his career, Sheets recorded 150 tackles, including 65 solo stops, while adding 3 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 1 sack, and a fumble recovery return for a touchdown. But perhaps his greatest impact came from his ability to find the football. Jeromy had a knack for being around the ball when the Buckeyes needed it most. He recovered 8 career fumbles, the second highest in school history. He established a school record with 6 fumble recoveries in a single season, a mark that still stands today, and twice tied the school record by recovering 2 fumbles in a single game. His 55-yard fumble return for a touchdown against Benton County remains tied for the second longest defensive touchdown return in Buckeye history. At the conclusion of the 1992 season, Jeromy earned first team All-TVC honors, recognizing his role in one of the greatest defenses Nelsonville-York has ever fielded. In 2020, he was further honored with selection to the Nelsonville-York football all-decade team of the 1990s as a first-team linebacker. While Jeromy's accomplishments on the football field were remarkable, his time on the wrestling mat for the Buckeyes was just as noteworthy. There are a few legendary names, family names in Nelsonville-York wrestling history. McLaughlin, Yinger, Bateman, and Mays come to mind, along with the name Sheets. Continuing the legacies started by his father and passed on to quite a few family members, Jeromy held up his end of the bargain. If you attended Buckeye wrestling meets during the early 1990s, you would have seen his hand raised in victory 137 times. During his career, Jeromy compiled a record of 137 wins, 14 losses, and 1 tie, placing himself among the most accomplished wrestlers in school history. Match after match, opponent after opponent, he established himself as one of the premier wrestlers, not only in the Tri-Valley Conference, but throughout the state of Ohio. His success helped lead the Buckeyes to Tri-Valley Conference championships in 1990, 1992, and 93. Individually, he dominated his weight class, capturing 4 consecutive DVC championships during his high school career. As a senior, he was named Tri-Valley Conference Most Valuable Wrestler, a fitting recognition for the league's most accomplished wrestler. His excellence extended beyond the conference level. He qualified for the state wrestling tournament 3 consecutive years, and in 1991 earned a 5th place finish in the state at 145 pounds. That accomplishment placed him among an elite group of Buckeye wrestlers and secured his place as one of the finest grapplers ever to wear the brown, white, and orange. Whether it was chasing down ball carriers on a Friday night or raising his hand in victory on the wrestling mat, Jeromy Sheets represented the toughness, determination, and competitive spirit that defines Nelsonville-York athletes. His accomplishments, records, and legacy have earned him a lasting place among the greatest athletes in Buckeye history.
At a young age, he was just a sponge. So if he seen it, he wanted to learn it, he did it. Same thing with wrestling. Wrestling just came to him as like, hey, that's neat, I like that. And he would just kind of study it. He pushed himself like no one else. Whether you're running sprints or practicing takedowns, he's trying to hit it every single time.
I've known a lot of athletes over the years, and very few had the motor that he did. His intensity was contagious, and his commitment to excellence never seemed to have an off day.
Well, it came to man, he was just locked in. It's the eye of the tiger. This dude was just locked in. It's like he had a game plan, and he's going to go out, he's going to attack, and he's going to set the tempo. He's not going to give you any sort of hope, if you will. He's like, I'm going to come after you, and I'm going to get this. It's one of those things where it's like, you have to be born with it. It can't be taught. And I mean, it was just a constant attack. Man, he was something else.
One of the things about Jeromy, for his size, he was incredibly strong. He consistently outworked and outperformed bigger athletes because of his toughness and his work ethic. Rarely ever was he not first when it came to sprints and, run laps and, working hard through all the drills. He always worked as hard as he could every day, especially on the mat. He never had an off day. He always came prepared, ready to go, and he always brought his A game.
His determination to just be the best and be first at everything he did. With his leadership, it's just, you can't help but love Jeromy. Like I said, he's hilarious. He would almost even use humor, but, he would get your ear and it's kind of like, let's go. And it's like you want to do it for him. Jeromy, he's not a yeller, he's not a hyper-upper. He's a talker. He makes you feel like you're part of the process. So therefore, rather than to sit and yell and scream and, come on, get everybody hyped up, no, he's going to come over, he's going to explain, hey, we're about to go out here, this is what we're going to do, we're going to attack, stay at it.
But he had a rare combination of relentlessness, aggression on the field and mat, and kind of got away from the competition. He was one of the kindest, most respectful people I've ever met, so that balance is something you'll see every day.
He's kind, he's caring, he's goofy as all get out, but at the same time, he's a very thoughtful person. He's one of the nicest guys you ever meet. From young till now, he's always been the same guy. He's a friend.
Jeromy was a great leader. He was always positive. He would come down on you when needed, but pick you right back up. Like I said, off the field, he was the nicest guy you could ever meet. He had a really good balance of, he could get on you when he needed to, but, always be your best buddy. He was just the ultimate competitor. You he always strived to win. You know, he always wanted to win, and he was not afraid to outwork anybody and would work. You know, his motor never quit. So, yeah, it was something to see.
We knew that Jeromy was going to go out, and he was going to set the tempo. Like I said, he's not a yeller, he's not a screamer, but at the same time, he'd give you that eye, and you knew what it was. It's like, okay, let's go to work. Whether it been football, whether it been wrestling, there was no off switch. You could energize everybody that could.
He just had that drive, had that motor, had that intensity all the time, and I don't think he ever came tired or had a bad day. Jeromy was always a winner at everything he did. It's evident in his life, even after sports and after high school. He's just a winner.
I'm so proud of him. This is just a long time coming, if you will, but at the same time, I think we all knew it. You stood out from first grade through 12th grade. Everything you've done, you achieved it.
Just congratulations, and it's very well deserved, and proud of him.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present for induction into the Nelsonville-York Athletic Hall of Fame, Mr. Jeromy Sheets.
Thank you very much. Since I went to school here in the 1900s, get these out. It's funny, I was sitting at the table and my Aunt Betty asked me if I had to speak tonight, and my daughter looked over and said, he worked on a speech on the way here. So, but I like working under pressure. So appreciate everybody being here tonight. I'm truly blessed to be here. It's an honor for me standing here this evening. There's too many people to list individually. I would like to thank the groups of people that have impacted me throughout my time here at Nelsonville-York. First and foremost, I want to thank God for giving me the health, gifts, and ability to play the sports that I love. Without His grace, strength, and guidance through every victory and every trial, I would not be standing here today. To the Hall of Fame Committee, thank you for this tremendous recognition, joining the ranks of athletes, coaches, and leaders who built a rich tradition of Nelsonville-York athletics. I really think it's deeply humbling just to be a part of that. Thank you for preserving our school's history and for granting me a place and a legacy that means so much to the entire community. To my teachers, you taught me the lessons that extended far beyond the field, the mat, and the classroom. Thank you for pushing me academically and holding me to high standards every single day. And thank you for not giving me pop quizzes after weekend wrestling tournaments. To my coaches, thank you for your relentless discipline and your belief in my potential, especially when I doubted myself. You taught me about leadership, the importance of hard work, and how to dig deep down to give my best when I was absolutely exhausted. You taught me what it truly means to represent the orange, brown, and white with pride, integrity, and class. To my teammates, this honor belongs just as much to you as it does to me. To my football brothers, we shared early morning practices, grueling workouts, victory celebrations, and hard-fought battles side by side. There is no bond quite like locking arms on Friday night, trusting the guy next to you, and playing for the name on the front of the jersey. To my wrestling teammates, thank you for pushing me to my absolute limits. Wrestling is a lonely sport, but I never felt alone because of my family that I had in the room. Thank you for every sweat-soaked mile, hours on the wrestling mat, and for making me better every single day. To my family, I have aunts, uncles, cousins here. Thank you very much for being here this evening. To my parents, Roy, Carol Sheets, thank you for being my unconditional support system. You were at every single game and tournament, sitting through freezing rain, heavy snow, and long days in crowded gymnasiums. You drove me endless miles, celebrated the wins, and picked me up after painful losses. Your sacrifices made my athletic career possible, but your love is what made it meaningful. I would also like to thank my wife, Carrie, my daughters, Hannah and Joanna, and my son, Josh, for being here this evening. I am truly blessed to have each of you in my lives. Being a part of Nelsonville-York legacy is something I will cherish for the rest of my life. It has shaped who I am as a competitor, but more importantly, it has shaped who I am as a person. Thank you very much.
Our next inductee is a 1995 graduate of Nelsonville-York High School. In her time as a Buckeye, Jill Shafer established herself as one of the most complete and versatile athletes to ever compete, not only at Nelsonville-York, but across the entire Tri-Valley Conference. Some athletes need time to develop at the varsity level. Others step in and make an impact immediately. Jill Shafer is one of those rare athletes who made her presence known from the very beginning. As a freshman, she earned a spot on the varsity basketball roster and went on to lead her in all 4 years of her high school career. That freshman season, Jill contributed to a Buckeye squad that captured a sectional championship and advanced into district competition, setting the tone for what would become a highly successful run for both her and the program. By her sophomore year, it was clear that Jill's role was expanding, and so was her impact on Buckeye basketball. Known for her shooting range and ability to score from nearly anywhere on the floor, she quickly became one of the most dangerous offensive threats in the conference. That season, she set a school record by knocking down 5 3-pointers in a single game. She would finish the year with 35 made 3-point shots, an unheard of number at that time, and also a school record at the time. Her contributions helped lead the Buckeyes to a 15-win season, tying the school record for victories in a single basketball season at the time. But more importantly, it marked the beginning of a career in which opponents across the area learned exactly who Jill Shafer was. Over the course of her basketball career, Shafer helped guide the Buckeyes to 44 total wins, becoming a cornerstone of one of the most successful seasons in program history. Her excellence on the court was recognized at every level as she earned all Tri-Valley Conference honors 3 times, including 2 first-team selections. At the district level, Jill was recognized twice among the best players in the region, earning 3rd team and 1st team all-district honors, and ultimately being named District 13 Player of the Year. Her outstanding play also earned her all-state recognition and invitations to participate in not 1, but 2 All-Star games, further solidifying her reputation as one of the elite players in our area. As with so many Buckeye athletes, Jill's success was not limited to a single sport or season. When basketball gave way to spring sports, Jill transitioned seamlessly to track and field, and a completely different kind of challenge. Competing in distance events, races that require just not speed, but endurance, discipline, and mental toughness, she once again proved to be a difference maker. As a member of the 3,200-meter relay team, Jill helped lead the Buckeyes to a Tri-Valley Conference championship alongside teammates Stephanie Shafer, her sister, Sydney Brooks, and Tara Kelly. That same group went on to qualify for the regional meet after placing 3rd at districts, continuing a season of excellence. Together, they also set a school record in a 1,600-meter relay with a time of 4.14, a mark that stood for many years. And her athletic athletic impact did not end there. Each fall, she brought that same competitive spirit to the volleyball court, where she once again played a key role in Buckeye success. During her career, she helped lead the program to 2 Tri-Valley Conference championships and a sectional championship, adding yet another layer to an already impressive athletic resume. By the end of her career, Jill Shafer had earned all TVC honors twice in volleyball, along with 2 all-district selections, further proving her consistency and excellence across multiple sports and seasons. Be it on the basketball court, on the track, or the volleyball court, Jill Shafer shined in her days as a Buckeye. Her versatility, competitiveness, and commitment to excellence made her one of the most accomplished multi-sport athletes in Nelsonville-York history. And her legacy remains firmly etched among the great of Buckeye athletes.
She was a great teammate. You knew that you were going to get the most out of Jill, and that she had the most in mind for the team. She put team before self.
She celebrated her team's successes and was always willing to be that player that everyone wanted to see play, but also she made everyone around her better.
She led by example. She wasn't anybody that was going to yell at anybody if they didn't do well. She was just going to encourage them and say, hey, you'll get it the next time. And then she would just go out and try to do her best and lead that way.
She was never late practice, so she was always open to the constructive criticism and suggestions that our coaches would give her. And she was never willing to back down from a challenge. We always knew that she would give the effort that was going to make herself better so that the team could be better. She was focused. She put in the time during practice that she knew that she needed to do to make herself better so that the team in the end could succeed.
You know, she was my favorite teammate. She was never anybody I had to get frustrated with, that she wasn't doing her best or trying her hardest or fooling around in practice. I just always knew I could count on her to come in and do what she was supposed to do. I never knew if she was nervous. She never showed that. If the coach told her to do something, she'd shake her head yes, and then she'd go out and try to do it to her best of her ability.
She has been a great friend. She is dependable. She's hardworking. She's always been someone you can count on. She's always been a great inspiration. Her leadership, I felt like on the court, may not have been the loudest, but I feel like it came through with her attitude and the way she treated people.
She was just that solid leader that people could look up to because they always knew that they were going to get the best efforts and good sportsmanship out of her. She was always very fair and led with integrity. There was never a negative word that came out of her mouth to change the mood of the team. It was always, yeah, let's do it. We've got this, and we can compete with anybody. Essentially, it's the feel that you got from her, and that just made the normal team that I was on with her, as well as the track and the relays and everything that we were on together. That just made it that much more solid. Simply because we knew that we had a job, and Jill knew she had a job, and we were going to go out and execute it.
I think it's her work ethic. I think she brought a lot of work ethic and perseverance she brought to the court. And I think that carried her throughout her career, not only in basketball, but also in track. And I think that quality that she brought was her passion for always wanting to do better and always cheering on everyone else around her.
I think her biggest impact was everyone was showing people how to quietly win, go out, do your job, good things will happen, you got to keep trying, even if at first you don't succeed, you try again. I think she showed that very well. Just always, let's get down to business, let's get it done, we'll have fun afterwards.
I do feel like she's really truly deserving of this honor, not only what she accomplished as an athlete, but as a person. And, you know, she's continued that, I feel like, all throughout her life.
You could not put a better person to be able to do this. I'm just super proud of her. When you get that recognition of someone that you did so many years ago, I'm just happy for her that she gets to be part of this and that she's recognized for the impact that she's had. So congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present for induction into the Nelsonville-York Athletic Hall of Fame, Miss Jill Shafer.
Can we just take a second and appreciate the 90s hair? Wow. Jeromy, I'm right there with you. I want to begin by thanking the members of the Nelsonville-York Athletic Hall of Fame Committee. The effort and energy you put into celebrating the coaches, athletes, and members of this community are deeply appreciated. For someone to have nominated me and then be voted into the Athletic Hall of Fame is a great honor. Additionally, I would like to congratulate the individuals who have already been inducted and to those who are joining me in this 2026 class. I feel proud to be standing beside all of you. Thank you as well to the nutrition services staff for providing this really wonderful meal to us tonight. I've always kind of hoped that I would have an opportunity to thank certain people publicly, so I'm going to be doing that and going over my 5 minutes. So I'm just letting you know. If there's like a band that starts to play like they do at the Oscars, I'm just going to keep talking. So, I just want to publicly thank as many people as I can who have helped to shape the person that I am today. The people who encouraged me, pushed me to be my best, and didn't give up on me. The people who saw things in me that took me years to see. The people who gave their time, their energy, their attention, their expertise and care simply because it was in their hearts to do so. Or because their names were Steve and Susan Shafer, AKA Mom and Dad. So I'll just start from the beginning. I was 7 years old when I started playing softball. My coach was Bill Wind. He was typically a very calm coach, but on the occasion when he lost his patience with us, his lovely wife Susan was there to rein him in. He was my first coach and the perfect person for this job. He taught me how to catch, hit, and that when the ball goes into the outfield, you need to actually throw it back to the infield and not stand and stare. Thank you, Coach Wind. We played our games at the fields by the city pool, and on any given day, you could find Tommy Schultz there mowing the grass and keeping the fields tidy. Many of us really liked Tommy. Not only did he maintain all of those fields, but he would also referee many of the basketball games I played at Nelsonville-York Middle School. Tommy was funny and kind and gave some of the best advice I have ever received. Whenever we had a game to play, he would say, "Go out, have fun, and win." He was a friendly and familiar face, even though he was a referee, when I started playing basketball in the 5th grade. 5th grade basketball tryouts. Oof. As I walked into that gym, all I saw were boys, not one girl, and I was scared and nervous. I sat in the seats beside my mom, and Randy Gaston walked over. He introduced himself and pointed to, as I like to call him, Marvelous Mark Fick, who was standing up on the court with all the boys. He showed me the basketball that we'd be using, told me a little bit about how the tryouts would go, and he was so kind, but I was still reluctant to get up on that court. Finally, Chris McGuire and Bobby Seal walked in, and I felt such relief that I wasn't the only girl. Fast forward, the 3 of us make the team, and my shining moment came next year. In one of our games, I outscored all the boys on my team, and this included, yes, Justin and Jason Gale. I had 12 points and they had 10. Mark and Randy treated all of us like athletes, not boys or girls, just athletes. And I respect and love them both for this and for building a strong foundation for me in the game of basketball. Thank you, Mark and Randy. 7th grade basketball brought Coach Ron Tuck Connor into my life. He was from Logan, so at first we all kind of looked at him suspiciously. We all quickly learned that he knew basketball. He also knew Katie Smith, and this gave him a lot of street cred. I don't recall what our season record was, but it was a winning season. We played well, and I learned a lot. After that season, I was introduced to Logan AAU and Coach Jim Myers. Coach Myers was terrifying, but he was a fantastic coach. And let's face it, anyone who willingly coaches middle school anything has to be a little terrifying because, as we all know, middle school kids are completely unhinged. In the summer before 9th grade, our Logan AAU team won state and then ended up 7th in the nation. It was a very rough summer for many reasons, but Coach Myers and Coach Connor made that summer bearable by being present and supporting me. Thank you, Coach Myers. 8th grade brought one of the kindest, funniest, and most thoughtful individuals I've ever met in my entire life, Coach Jim Hall. Jim had a special way with all of us. He knew when we needed tough love. He knew when we needed a listening ear. It was so clear he wanted the absolute best for every single one of us. In high school, when our friend Jesse passed away, he invited any kid who wanted or needed a place to try to make sense of what had happened to his outside basketball court. He built a bonfire and offered us coffee. Many of us took advantage of this offer to gather together. It was a comfort we needed. He, along with his wife Tammy, one of my favorite teachers, were always there for all of us, and we felt loved and understood. But make no mistake, Jim was full of jokes. He would often tell me I couldn't walk and chew gum at the same time. And it did take a while to grow into this body, for sure. And at the conclusion of my 8th grade season, he gave me a card. And in that card, he wrote that the only difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little bit of extra effort. That day, I memorized that quote, and I've shared it with my students for 27 years. Jim, thank you for always believing in me, and you should know that I can indeed walk and chew gum. High school brought new challenges and new sports. I played volleyball and ran track in addition to basketball. Coach Connor was my basketball and volleyball coach through my junior year. He saw something in me that I had yet to see. Basketball was my main focus. I had been playing during the season and in the summer since 7th grade. It was the sport I excelled in most, and I had goals around that sport. Little did I know there were college basketball coaches in the stands at games, and I had no idea until after the games were over. One coach was Marcia Reel of Ohio University. She had seen me play at team camp, and now during the season. I was so close to my dream of playing at OU. One of the other coaches was Wilmington College's coach, Jeromy Sheets. He attended games and saw me win the District 13 three-point shooting contest my junior year. Unfortunately, even though I was named Co-District Player of the Year my senior year, along with Jamie Lewis, who went on to attend Ohio State University, I fell short of earning a scholarship to OU. During my senior year, my stats hadn't been sent in on time for all Ohio. I was devastated and angry. I had worked so hard. Our OU was out of reach. Coach Connor had been let go as our coach at the end of my junior year, and I had lost a big advocate. Thank you, Coach Connor, for pushing me beyond what I thought I could do. Luckily, Coach Sheets still wanted me to play at Wilmington. I went for a visit, and I fell in love with WC. Coach was quiet, yet very enthusiastic. I saw the facilities, the gym, the weight room, and I was hooked. I knew I would attend WC. I had an exceptional freshman year, but I was also just a kid trying to figure things out. I left WC and attended OU for a year. However, I missed my friends and basketball. Coach Sheets welcomed me back with open arms, and I was so unbelievably grateful to him. Coach Sheets is one of the most influential people in my life. While at WC, I learned hard work, perseverance, teamwork, how to win and lose gracefully, and that nothing is impossible if you are willing to work for it. Thank you, Coach Sheets. Additionally, Coaches Vicki and Steve McCollum, Coach Amy Dixon, and Mr. Dale DeVall played integral parts in my development, not only as an athlete, but as a human being. They coached me in track and volleyball. They were tough, but fair. Even though Vicki and Steve were from West Virginia, we didn't hold that against them. My dad did crack a joke though when we learned where they were from, and he said, do they know that we play with a round ball in Ohio? And I said, oh my gosh, Dad. I quickly learned that Vicki and Steve were two of the best coaches I ever had. And Vicki even took me on a trip to her alma mater, West Virginia Wesleyan, to visit. And that was something she did out of the goodness of her heart. So thank you, Coach. Thank you also, Steve and Coach Dixon. Mr. Duvall coached me in track. And again, the summer before I left for college to play basketball at WC. During high school track, especially with our 4x400 relay, he would tell me, you just run your race, which was really the nicest way that he could have said, you're the slowest, and the rest of the team's gonna catch us up. Truth be told, our 4x4 team, which consisted of myself, Monica Johnson, Andrea Offlick, and Kristen Inman, did not like the 4x4. Before every race, we would actually go around and question every single runner to see if we had an injury, so that maybe we could get out of running the race. We never told anyone, so the secret's out. But we did have the school record for quite a while, so I think we were pretty good. As I said, Mr. Duvall coached me during the summer before my freshman year at WC. He was my strength and conditioning coach, and he gave his time for no fee. He simply wanted me to be successful. I was definitely prepared when I got to WC. I was the fastest and one of the strongest, being the one who had the best time in the 3-mile run. In fact, Coach Sheedy asked me about halfway through the season, do you ever get tired? I was also the only one who could do dips on a dip bar, so that they all thought that was pretty cool. So Mr. Duvall, I can't thank you enough for all you did for me. I'm forever, ever grateful for your belief in me, and thank you for being here. Now, all this would not have been possible without my amazing teammates, friends, teachers, community members, and family who supported me. I was fortunate enough to have the most amazing friend group who wanted me to be successful. My teammates pushed me to be the best athlete I could be. Friends of our family and people in the community who supported me from afar were always so appreciated. My teachers, who by the way are some of the best in the biz here in Nelsonville. They challenged me, supported me, and were always there for a chat when I needed it. My family, my grandma Hetty, who would often accompany my mom on the longer road trips and vacations. She was unbelievably funny and so very loving. I always felt so safe and loved around her. My grandma and Grandpa Shafer bought me my first half-moon basketball hoop. I spent a lot of time shooting hoops, and for those of you who know where we live up on the hill, you can imagine how fun it was to miss those shots and have to go running over the hill for the rebound. Grandma and Grandpa attended every game they could, starting way back in the early Bill Wen days, all the way through college. They loved coming to the games, and I felt so proud seeing them in the stands. Grandma would keep her little memo notebook of stats, and she would give me the rundown after each game. They followed me to various states and put many miles on their car. It was evident that they enjoyed watching the games, and I just wanted to make them proud. Tonight, my parents, Steve and Susan, my sisters, Stephanie and Allie, and my cousin Tina, are all here. My family is the best. Make no mistake, absolutely none of these things I've accomplished would have been possible without any of them. Mom and Dad, you gave so much of your time, energy, encouragement, support, love, and money so that I could travel and play sports, especially basketball. I went to camps at the University of Kentucky and the University of South Carolina. I played in tournaments all over the place. So according to my calculations, I owe you $5.2 million. And as soon as I win the lottery, that money's yours. I love you and appreciate all you have done and still do for me. It's because of you I have learned to be kind, to work hard, and help others as often as I can. Steph and Allie, you're the best sisters a gal can have. You've always been there to lend a listening ear or a smart remark, depending on the situation. I appreciate you and love you. Our inside jokes are some of the best. Let's keep those Peloton rides and spring break trips going. Tina, you were always my hero. I loved when you would babysit us and we'd watch scary movies we weren't supposed to. Sorry. And now you're a cancer survivor and have solidified what a total badass you are. To my friends in Iowa, you're some of the best friends I've ever had. Ooh. And knowing you makes me a better person. To my wife, Amy, and our two little guys, Raylan and Riley, I love you. Let's keep laughing and enjoying our life together. Ray and Rye, I sure hope you're being good at Meet the Teacher night tonight. Once again, I just want to thank all of you for being here and supporting all of the inductees. So remember tonight when you leave, you go out, you have fun, and win. Go Bucks.
Our next inductee is a 2012 graduate of Nelsonville-York High School. During his time as a Buckeye, Daniel Kline built a reputation as one of the most dynamic and versatile athletes in the area, collecting 11 varsity letters across 3 sports, 4 in basketball, 4 in track and field, and 3 in football. In Southeast Ohio basketball, the name Kline is quite well known, as evidenced by Daniel's sister and father's previous selection into our Hall of Fame. With the family legacy already firmly established here at Nelsonville-York, Daniel entered high school carrying high expectations. He didn't disappoint. Daniel made an immediate impact on the basketball program, earning a varsity role as a freshman, and eventually working his way into the starting lineup before the season closed. At 6'2", with the ability to man any position, he quickly became a matchup problem for opponents across the Tri-Valley Conference in this region. During his 4 years at NY, Kline became a cornerstone of Buckeye basketball during one of its most competitive stretches of the modern era. By his sophomore season, he helped lead Nelsonville-York to a double-digit win total and a sectional championship. As a junior and senior, he continued to anchor the program as one of the most reliable veteran, culminating in a senior season that saw the Buckeyes win 13 games, the program's best mark since 1998, and capture another sectional championship. He was named first team All-Tri-Valley Conference in 3 consecutive seasons and earned first team All-District honors as a senior, followed by honorable mention All-State recognition. But like many of the great athletes in Nelsonville-York history, Daniel's story was not limited to a single sport. When basketball gave way to spring sports, he transitioned seamlessly to track and field, where his size, speed, and leaping ability made him one of the most dominant multi-event athletes in the conference. Competing in both running and field events, his versatility once again set him apart. As a junior, he placed second in the Tri-Valley Conference meet in the high jump and as part of the 4x100 relay, while also finishing third in the 100-meter dash. That same season, he qualified for the regional meet in the 100 meters, 400 meters, 4x100 relay, and high jump, a rare level of qualification across both sprinting and field disciplines. During his senior year, he was crowned Tri-Valley Conference champion in both the high jump and long jump, while also placing third in the 100 meters and fourth in the 400 meters. Those performances earned him recognition as the TVC high point scorer, highlighting his ability to impact multiple events at the highest level of competition. He once again would advance to the regional meet in both the high jump and long jump, further completing his status as the most complete track and field athlete in program history. By the end of his career, Daniel left his mark throughout the record book, including the second best long jump in school history, third fastest times in both the 4x200, 4x400 relays, and top 5 finish in the high jump. As a 3-year starter on the gridiron for the Buckeyes, Daniel's impact would be felt on both sides of the ball. He began his career contributing as a sophomore tight end, averaging over 15 yards per reception. His junior year, he recorded 32 receptions for 493 yards and 8 touchdowns, while also manning defensive ends and at times outside linebacker for the Buckeyes. At the end of the season, he would be named first team All Tri-Valley Conference, first team All District, and honorable mention All State. During his senior year, he was also an important cog in one of the most prolific offenses in Buckeye history. The Buckeyes scored 426 points on the season, averaging over 40 points per game. Daniel played a major role in that success, finishing the year with 34 receptions for 578 yards and 8 touchdowns, averaging over 17 yards per catch. He would finish his career with 1,068 receiving yards, 70 receptions, and multiple single-season touchdown marks that placed him among the program's all-time leaders. Among tight ends in school history, he stands at the top of the list in nearly every major receiving category, and remains one of only a select group of Buckeyes to surpass 1,000 career receiving yards. During his senior season, Daniel would once again earn first team All-TVC and first team All-District honors, along with honorable mention All-State recognition. In 2020, he was selected to the Nelsonville-York football All-Decade team of the 2010s as a first team tight end and first team defensive end. Whether it was rising to expectations on the basketball court, excelling in multiple disciplines on the track, or dominating on both sides of the football field, Daniel Kline's career stands as a model of consistency and elite level performance. His legacy places him firmly among the most accomplished and multi-sport athletes in Nelsonville-York history.
Growing up with Daniel, he and I were just so close playing basketball all the time. I think for a lot of us growing up playing sports, he was someone that one of his peers idolized and wanted to be like him a lot.
It was pretty evident from early on that Daniel was the best athlete on the court, on the field. He had great ball handling skills. He could shoot. He was just, an all-around great player.
Daniel was the kid growing up that, you just wanted to be like when it came to playing sports and athletics. This was the best kid. Always far and away. Taller, faster, stronger than everybody. Just like a full athlete in whatever sport he played.
Daniel and I had an even better relationship on the football field. There were a lot of times where he made me look a lot better than I actually was. Daniel was essentially a security blanket. I knew if I just put it in the vicinity, he was going to go up and get it. Whether it was a short route, a deep route, behind the line of scrimmage, or 30 yards downfield, I knew I gave Daniel a chance to get the ball. He was going to come down with it. There was one play that sticks out in my mind. Our junior year, we're playing Athens at home. Athens just scored to take the lead late in the fourth quarter. The entire game, they had Daniel double covered. Well, we go out there, and immediately I see that corner is not only not on Daniel, he's not even on the field. And Daniel and I kind of give each other a signal that says, hey, go get it. I know I threw it up. I know it was a little underthrown, but I knew I'd give Daniel a chance to get it. He'd come down with it. And he came back and got the ball, and we had, another shot. Now clock rolling under a minute. So Daniel and I knew exactly what to do, and I took a quick drop, threw the ball up, and Daniel came down with it in the end zone, and we ended up going on and winning the game and winning the league. And we could not have done that had Daniel Kline not been on the field.
Like I said, Daniel had that immense innate talent growing up, and just see how he worked at it, and how he got better, progressed as he got older. I just want to see success together.
Daniel was one of my most athletic players that I ever coached. His skill set for all the sports was on display. For football, he could go out and catch the ball. Basketball, of course, his running and jumping, and had several dunks. So particularly, I felt like he showed up more in track than anything, because he would do all the things that he was really good at in the high jump and the long jump. I thought that was pretty impressive for his skill set.
Like I said, tall kid, fast kid, he can jump out of the gym, he can shoot the ball, he can handle the ball, he can rebound. he could do it all. Daniel was a playmaker. He would always have his drive. He would know what needed to be done, and he would do it. He wouldn't make a big show about it, but he was incredibly passionate. And when he succeeded in what he wanted to do on the court, you would see those emotions come out, and you would see that drive, that intensity, and that pushed us. One of my favorite games that we played my senior year was at Alexander. We had lost to Alexander at home earlier this season. It was a huge drop. So we go back to their place later that season, and Daniel has 2 alley dunks, and the crowd just goes crazy, and he's just, lit up too.
He's probably the most gifted athlete I've ever been around. I mean, he was 6'4", 185 pounds, could jump out of the gym, go up and high point the ball.
At the end of Daniel's senior year, we went to the combo, so I talked to him after the game, and I said, I probably never did a worse job of coaching a kid than I did with you, but I never loved any athlete as much as I loved you either.
Congratulations, man. I'm extremely happy that you're coming into the Hall of Fame.
I would love seeing his class in the hallway, seeing students in the hallway, being able to tell them that I had the pleasure of playing with him throughout all my years of sports, and tell them about the type of players and the person that he was. I'm very thankful for Daniel and the way that he shaped me as a basketball player and as a person. I just want to say teammates forever, and Daniel's more than deserving of this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present for induction into the Nelsonville-York Athletic Hall of Fame, Mr. Daniel Kline.
Hello. I'd like to thank Nate for the kind words in the video, first of all, Steve and the rest of the council for deciding me that I deserve to be in this group of people. Yeah, I don't really feel like I do deserve it because, I don't know, there's just many people that are professional athletes and everything else. I just wanted to thank my teammates because, well, I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. And most importantly, my mom and my dad. I'm not the most well-spoken, most, well-dressed, but I got a support system that really can't be broken, and I wanted to thank them for that. I've given them lots of headaches in the past with, just the way I am. A lot of people do know me, and I haven't seen a lot of people in this room for 15 years, and it's good to see some people here that I haven't seen in a long time. And I did not have a speech ready at all. I really should have spent more time getting ready for this moment. But it's just good to be honored with a good group of people, and I would like to thank the council for deciding that I decided to be in, or that I deserve to be in, and all the work that everybody puts in. Is when you're a kid, you don't really realize or see all the work that it takes a whole community, it takes a village to raise a child, is what they say, I believe. But as you grow up, you really see the hard work that the adults put in to make this good for the children growing up, and it says a lot. So yeah, let's see here. Yeah, my dad was my coach for a long time. He's still coaching me to this day, and yeah, I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for just in life, the good things that happen, the mistakes, everything, because that's made me who I am, and hopefully I still keep growing as a person. And yeah, no, I'm very thankful for this moment. Thank you very much.
Madison Davis Losey is a 2015 graduate of Nelsonville-York High School. During her time as a Buckeye, Madison established herself as one of the most accomplished and decorated athletes in school history, earning 8 varsity letters, 4 in volleyball and 4 in basketball, etching her name deep into the record book in both sports. Like so many Buckeye inductees before her, Madison's excellence would not be defined in one sport or one memorable season. Her dominance would encompass both the volleyball and basketball court and would stretch across multiple seasons. From an early age, it was clear that Madison's drive and talent was something special. She dominated at the youth and middle school levels, and when she arrived at high school stage, she was more than prepared to contribute. Her preparation showed almost immediately as she earned a spot on the varsity volleyball roster as a freshman and steadily worked her way into a key role. By her sophomore season, Madison's impact helped push the Buckeye volleyball programs to historic heights. That year, Nelsonville-York captured its first ever district championship. A milestone moment for the program. It was only the beginning of what Madison and her teammates would achieve in the coming years. As her career progressed, so did her dominance. By her junior year, this devastating hitter had developed into one of the premier players in the region, helping lead the Buckeyes to a 15-5 record. Her performance that season earned her first team All-Tri-Valley Conference, first team All-District, District Player of the Year, and third team All-State selections. In her senior season, she elevated her game and her team even higher, leading the Buckeyes to a 19-win campaign and a #1 district seed. The team advanced through postseason play with victories over Oak Hill and Portsmouth West before falling in a hard-fought district final against Adena, finishing as district runner-up. Individually, Madison closed out her volleyball career as first team All-TVC, first team All-District, and repeated as District Player of the Year, along with the second team All-State selection. During that season, she reached one of the most celebrated milestones in program history, recording her 1,000th career kill. Her volleyball career alone would make her worthy of Hall of Fame status, but there would be more to her story. Following her freshman volleyball season, Madison transitioned to the basketball court, where once again she earned a varsity spot immediately, continuing a pattern that defined her entire athletic career: arrive, compete, and elevate the program. During her freshman and sophomore seasons, she helped guide the Buckeyes to a combined 26 wins, laying the foundation for what would become the most successful stretch in program history. By her junior year, Madison had developed into a dominant force on the basketball court as well, leading the Buckeyes in scoring and rebounding while helping guide the program to heights it had not reached in years. That season, Nelsonville-York captured a Division III district championship with a 17-6 record, one of the most significant postseason runs in program history, before narrowly falling to Garaway in the regional semifinal by just 3 points. For her efforts that season, Madison earned first team All-TVC honors, establishing herself as one of the premier players in the conference. Her senior season set the bar even higher. The Buckeyes posted a 20-4 record, earned a #1 district seed, and once again advanced in the district final after defeating Meigs and Chesapeake in the early rounds, and once again finishing as district runner-ups. At the conclusion of her career, she was named first team All-TVC, first team All-District, co-district player of the year, and special mention All-State. In that same season, she also reached another defining milestone, scoring her 1,000th career point in basketball and joining Hall of Famer Whitney Maiden as the only Buckeyes at the time to record both 1,000 kills and 1,000 points during their career. Following high school, Madison continued both her academic and athletic journey at Urbana University, where she majored in education and competed in volleyball at the Division II level. True to form, she made an immediate impact, earning a varsity role as a freshman and going on to become a 4-year letter winner for the Blue Knights. In her senior season, she was named first team All-Mountain East Conference and Academic All-American, and once again, passed the 1,000 kill mark. From high school to the collegiate level, Madison Davis Losey's career has been defined by outright excellence. Her accomplishments in 2 sports at multiple levels place her among the most distinguished student athletes in Buckeye history, and her legacy as Miss 1000 is one for the record books.
We got super close, and it was really because of the volleyball-basketball dynamic. We were really with each other like the whole first part of the school year. She led by example and influenced us all to make the right decisions in season, out of season. What was nice about Madison is she was serious about her sports, but it was never so serious that like we couldn't still have fun. But it was as long as we were doing the right things and getting the reps in, and that same expectation was given by our coaches too, like you guys can have fun just as long as we're getting the things done, and I think that helped a lot with her being able to lead the way she was, just because she wasn't a loud leader. Like I said, she wasn't overly like dominant about we need to do this or we need to do that. She was more like a lead by example kind of girl. It was just good to see that from the point of view that I played her position in both sports. So it gave me a lot to look at in terms of how I wanted to lead.
I knew we had something special with Madison. She was a very fierce competitor. Came in with a group of juniors and had been playing for a while and kind of stepped right in and added another key piece to that pretty high powerful team.
So Maddie has always been someone who's very dedicated to any goal that she has in mind. Maddie's somebody who's putting work when nobody's watching too. When we were younger, we would go to practice, but Maddie would also want to go and work out, and she would lift every day. After we would finish lifting, she would then go on a run around Brookville so she could stay in shape.
Girl was a rebounding machine. I remember sometimes it seemed like I almost got to rebound, and just out of thin air, Madison would appear and get it out of my hands. The girl could get in the air and maneuver her body, and I attribute a lot of that to her abilities in volleyball, because that's all of what you're doing as a middle hitter, is moving around while you're in the air and trying to torque and do different things to get different slices and hits, and she was very good at that.
Her timing was just unbelievable, and her swing was just a real quick snap, and people had a hard time adjusting to that. Every team we played knew the ball was going to Madison, but I don't remember her getting blocked too many times. It was just a nice thing to have. You knew you were getting a kill when it was going to Madison. It was a lot of fun to watch her play, just the way that, how fast her offense could go because of her timing and her snaps.
Madison is a leader that knows how to remain very stable during all circumstances. In the locker room, she's going to get in there and try to help the girls. Once she stepped on the court, she was very emotionally intelligent, where she wouldn't get rattled much at all. It didn't matter if we were losing, it didn't matter if we were winning. Madison was able to really walk in and get the job done.
We had success as a team for a lot of reasons during those years, but you don't have success if you're not scoring points. So bringing that to the table, she was always one that we could rely on both on the basketball and the volleyball court to put up points when needed. I think she'll be known as the dominant force. She was one that on the basketball and the volleyball court, people had to reckon with her. They really had to deal with almost 6 foot tall and that long, and that ability to dump and move your body in the air. I mean, she was a force.
Congratulations, Madison. Very well deserved. Even in the time of coaching you, I knew Nelsonville-York had something special.
I think Madison has a lot of integrity. I think she's a good leader. I think she's a good example of somebody who comes from southeastern Ohio and puts in work in and can be successful. Her legacy that she left for Nelsonville-York is to work hard and stay driven and achieve your goals. Even though Madison's a great human in the world, there's more people like Maddie in it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present for induction into the Nelsonville-York Athletic Hall of Fame, Mrs. Madison Davis Losey.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start off by thanking the Alumni Association Hall of Fame Committee and Nathan Dean for putting all of this together. Putting on an event like this takes considerable time, effort, and coordination. I'm overwhelmed, humbled, and grateful to receive this honor. After finding out I was going to be inducted into Nelsonville-York's Hall of Fame this past spring, I've deeply reflected on my athletic journey and all of the people that were a part of it. This award may have my name on it, but behind it are all the people who supported me, coached me, mentored me, and encouraged me to become the person I am today. I feel it's only right to use this time to acknowledge those individuals. An athlete is a summation of all the coaching and guidance they are afforded through the years, and I was lucky enough to have very consistent coaching. I played under each of them for multiple years. I was given a strong foundation by Chuck Walters, who, along with my father, coached me in basketball from elementary school into middle school. Coach Walters instilled the value of hard work and the importance of the little things. When I think back on those years, I think of his focus on the details, but I also remember laughing all the time. Coach Walters affectionately called us knuckleheads, and we gave him good reason. I distinctly remember our whole team getting in trouble because on the way to a game at Miller, a group of us drank Monster energy drinks on the way there, on the bus. We came out so flat and lethargic, I felt like I was running underwater. Coach Walters let us have it. Safe to say, I learned a very important lesson that day about being game ready. This foundation was built upon by my two high school coaches, Ben Roby in volleyball and my fellow inductee tonight, Amanda Wiseman, then Dalton in basketball. Coach Roby helped me develop into a confident player. He gave me room to grow into a leader and encouraged me constantly. Coach Dalton molded me into a strong, confident woman who believed she could do anything. I think back on my years playing under both of these amazing coaches and realize how lucky I was to have coaching that not only helped me excel as an athlete, but also instilled a love for the game in me. While these were my main coaches, I had a myriad of assistant coaches who had a hand in my development as well. Unfortunately, I don't have time to name all of them, but I do deeply appreciate all the time that they dedicated to not only me, but to Nelsonville athletics as a whole. Along with my consistent coaches, I had amazing teammates who turned into some of my closest friends. From elementary school, I played with Megan Hawley, Amanda Dennis, Bailey Dean, and Haley Hardy. These girls saw every stage of my development as an athlete and have been in every stage of my life since, both the highs and the lows. I am so grateful for their lifelong friendship that started on court. In high school, I was put on the varsity teams as a freshman, but I never felt like the odd one out. The upperclassmen really took me under their wings and gave me someone to look up to. Some of them are here tonight, such as Caitlin Mayden and Caitlin Hurd, even though I was older than Caitlin. These older girls helped build my competitiveness and showed me that while you can lead from the front, true leaders know the importance of being able to follow. Finally, my family deserves to be acknowledged for the unending support they gave me during my high school and college athletic career. It sounds silly, but I didn't realize how lucky I was to have my family come to all of my games, both home and away. That was just what was normal for me. Not just my parents, but my brother, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, and my grandparents. They were always in the stands for me. Even if we lost, or I found out, which only happened a time or two, or I played terribly, I knew that I would come out to hugs and encouragement from them all. That kind of support builds a strong sense of resiliency in an athlete and in a person. Thank you to each and every one of my family members. I'd also like to thank my brother Aaron for pushing me to be the best basketball player in our household. Seriously, I was not going to let my little brother out-rebound me. But he did give me a run for my money. I'd also like to thank my grandparents who also showed up for me. And I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge my two grandpas, Grandpa Dick and Grandpa Roberts, who are no longer with us but are certainly smiling down from heaven right now, as they were two major champions of me as an athlete. And I've been saving the best for last, my parents. Both of you gave me everything I needed to excel and then some. You taught me that if I want something, I have to put in the time to get it. You taught me to always respect my coaches and their decisions, especially because at one point or another, you were both one of my coaches. As a mother now myself, I only hope that I can be as dedicated as you were to my children's ambitions. All the time you spent driving me to AAU and club volleyball tournaments, all of the money you invested into my athletic career, all of the post-game breakdowns and advice, and for teaching me the invaluability of a left-handed hook shot. I cannot thank you enough. I think words truly do fall short as I try to express my gratitude to my mom and dad. I love you both, and this is your award tonight as well. As I wrap up, I'd just like to again express my gratitude to the Alumni Association and to Nelsonville-York Athletics. Back in 2015, when it was still Twitter and not X, and people still used hashtags, hashtag Buckeye Family became a rallying cry for the athletic teams in my school. Standing here tonight, it's clear just how deep the meaning behind that little hashtag was. Thank you for your time.
One of the things that we annually forget to do before the ceremony is to get a group picture of our class, and true to form, we forgot again this year. So class, after we are done with our introductions tonight, if you scurry right up here immediately following the ceremony, we'll get that group picture. Our next inductee is also 2015 graduate of Nelsonville-York High School. During his time as a Buckeye, Dakota Mays earned 8 varsity letters, 4 in wrestling, 2 in football, and 2 in track and field. He established himself as one of Nelsonville-York's finest. Dakota's wrestling accomplishments take center stage, and rightfully so. But like most of our other inductees, his story as a Buckeye is incomplete without recognizing his impact in multiple sports. On the football field, Dakota proved to be one of the most reliable and versatile players on the roster. An undersized tight end, he consistently held his own against much larger defensive linemen, showing the toughness and competitive edge that defined his career. In the passing game, he became a dependable target for quarterback Hunter Edwards, finishing his career with 15 receptions for 356 yards and 3 touchdowns, and an impressive 23.7 yards per catch, which ranked among the best career average in school history at the time. On defense, he lined up at middle linebacker, Mays' family tradition, and played an essential role in the Buckeye defense. He recorded 125 career tackles, including 35 solo stops, along with 1 interception, 2 fumble recoveries, 2 sacks, and 7 pass breakups. His performance earned him first team All-Tri-Valley Conference honors as a senior, and in 2020, he was selected as a middle linebacker on the Nelsonville-York football all-decade team of the 2010s. But even with those accomplishments, football was only one chapter of his athletic story. From the moment he stepped onto the varsity wrestling lineup, he was part of one of the most successful wrestling teams, not at Nelsonville-York High School, but in Southeast Ohio history. As a freshman, he contributed to a Buckeye squad that captured both sectional and district championships and went on to place 4th in the state tournament. Individually, he immediately made his mark, winning a Tri-Valley Conference championship, a sectional title, and placing 6th in the state meet in his very first season. His sophomore year followed a similar path. Once again, Dakota captured TVC and sectional championships, added a district title, and returned to the state podium, this time placing 7th in the state. An injury his junior year kept him from winning a 3rd TVC title, but even with that setback, he continued his postseason success, winning both sectional and district championships and earning a 4th place finish at the state tournament, further solidifying his reputation as one of the elite competitors in the state in his weight class. Entering his senior season, Dakota carried both expectation and experience into what would become a defining year. He dominated the regular season, posting a 45-1 record while collecting his 3rd TVC championship, 4th sectional championship, and 3rd district title. His path through the postseason was nothing short of remarkable. At the state tournament, he opened with a commanding 17-1 tech fall, followed by an 8-0 major decision that guaranteed his 4th consecutive podium finish, an achievement unmatched in Nelsonville-York history. He then defeated Andrew Hoskins of Dayton Christian 4-0 to advance to the state championship match, allowing just 1 point through 3 tournament bouts. In the finals, Dakota faced Jesse Beverly of Dalton in a hard-fought matchup. In a back-and-forth contest, he ultimately prevailed 14-10 to capture the 2015 160-pound Division III state championship, joining his brother Zach among the elite group of Buckeye state champions. By the end of his career, Dakota Mays had compiled a record of 165 wins and 17 losses and became the only wrestler in Nelsonville-York history to place at the state tournament all 4 years of his high school career. His combination of consistency, toughness, and championship pedigree places him firmly among the greatest wrestlers to ever represent the Buckeyes. From the football field to the track, to the pinnacle of Ohio wrestling, Dakota Mays carried forth a family legacy while building one of his own, defined by excellence, resilience, and a standard of success that will be remembered in Buckeye history for years to come.
Wow, this kid that made the junior high career. As a 6th grader, he won the grade school state tournament, and then the very next weekend he turned around and won the junior high state tournament. And back-to-back weekends. Coach had a really nice team when he was coming in, when obviously his older brother, Thomas McGraw, was 2 of the guys already in the Hall of Fame. And his brother was an incoming freshman who just had a tremendous junior high career. So it really gave a community a perfect one to look forward to add him to this already established group of guys.
Growing up, he was really the one who unfortunately had the more difficult weight cuts, but as he grew up, he kind of filled it out with his own body. That really he let him be able to shine with his own skills. We would do 2-3 nights for a couple of years up to Columbus, and oddly enough, our first wrestling camp, we didn't know anyone, so we drilled with each other until the coach separated us. Really, big back and forth rivalry. The team here was going to be the one to make it, and it really turned into him really shining a lot, and me honestly chasing after him.
His freshman year, he didn't get too many matches. I think he might have been like 10-1 or something, 10-2 going to the state tournament. Ended up having a nice state tournament, and he 6th that year as a freshman. Then he comes in as a sophomore, and then that year he finished 7th, and he just continued to do great things. You know, I mean, he's already 2 times state places as a sophomore. I mean, then his junior year, he finished 4th, and then the state champion as a senior. Because he's the only 4-time placer we ever had. He figured out some things on his feet his senior year. He became so dominant as a senior. He beat a kid by the name of Jesse Beverly from Dalton, who was ranked like 10th on earth in the country at the time. Actually beat the state finals, and he beat Jesse Beverly like a drum.
He was always down the road or whatever, whenever. He just was after it, wanted to get better. I know he would follow my example and keep everyone in line as far as what's going to make him better, what's going to make them be better. He gets after it, he'll snap your head, You know he's there, and before you know it, he's behind you, throwing legs in, working your back. He's just a monster on it.
His senior year is when I had this next great class coming in. And so they were all looking at now Dakota, that guy that gets out, and was going to, hey, revamp the next 4 years for us. He demanded respect. He's also a great leader. The kids respected him. They looked up to him. They loved him. I mean, he had great attitude and he's just an unbelievable kid. And he's just a tremendous leader for the young kids. He doesn't do 50% at anything. He does it the right way. He's doing it 100%. He's always all in. Everything he does, he's always all in.
Definitely has determination and just proving everything by results. He stepped in a tournament, he was placing top, he wasn't walking away without a medal.
Just a little on the senior year was that Alex Marinelli. Dakota lost him at New Lex. Alex Marinelli's a 4-time state champion St. Paris Graham. Tremendous match, unbelievable. And Dakota lost like 14-10 in that match. Alex Marinelli went on to be, I believe, a 4-time college All-American for the University of Iowa. Dakota pushed him harder than anybody. And Alex was actually getting really upset during the match because he didn't have his way like he had with everybody else. And Dakota was out there laughing, having a good old time, just hanging in there and crashing with him.
But yeah, if anyone knows him, you know he's a goofball. He likes to get the dog at you. He is very well translated that into wrestling. Just so he'll set you up in a way you won't know what's coming.
I appreciate him always leading by example, and just being the person he is, just everything you guys have always mentioned, our athletic program and our wrestling program, and then our great legacy in Nelsonville wrestling. He's probably the best wrestler we've ever had.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present for induction into the Nelsonville-York Athletic Hall of Fame, Mr. Dakota Mays.
Well, thank you, everybody. Buenas noches. First off, I want to say thank you to the committee, but Nathan Dean. Let's give him a round of applause for Nathan Dean. See, what we do is make videos for a living now, so really appreciate anyone bringing videos to this event. So appreciate you all for putting this on. Deeply honored. I do not have a speech. Just like you, Daniel, I'm with you. I do want to give some thanks to some proper people, starting with Mom and Dad. Love you, Mom and Dad. Some of you in this room know how crazy our life was growing up, but like we went to a lot of wrestling camps, sometimes too many wrestling camps, a lot of tournaments around the country. They kept draining their pockets for us. They spent all their time for us. Grandpa's in the crowd too today, just coming to most of our practices, like doing so much for us. Some of you inductees have mentioned like our family being involved in this, and not until you really look back and realize like, holy shit, like so many people put energy towards us making these things happen, just having fun as kids as we go through grade school, junior high, and high school, and like having these fun athletic careers. You know, student athlete, like I was like definitely an athlete student, like a lot of times, but like it prepped me for so many things in life. So I'm so grateful for that. So thank you, Mom and Dad. They were taking us to Columbus 3 days a week, sometimes, most weeks of our life. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Sundays, me and my brother both taking a big breath right now as I say that. After school, we would get home from wrestling practice and then go to another practice in Columbus, a lot of club wrestling. So that wasn't easy. We had a crazy Russian coach up in Columbus. So we had a crazy Russian coach, and then we had Matt Yanger. We had those two running the show for us. So you can only imagine, I did not know which ones were crazy or outspoken, but I appreciate them both so much and how they shaped me as a man, young man too. But yeah, going to Columbus really shaped us so much, putting the extra work in, and it shaped us in how we obviously went towards any sport we did. I sometimes forget about football until we brought up a lot of this, but thank you, Hunter, for all the good passes, making me look good. So much fun, but anyways, all this extra attention put in these sports, like I definitely looked past it growing up, and I took it for granted, but now I just shed so much love to you guys, giving us a lot of space. It really feels awesome knowing that you guys put a lot of energy into us, so thank you. Yeah, past that I would go to Coach Inger. Coach Inger, thank you so much. You are the craziest little man ever. And I appreciate you so much. Yeah, here you are. Yeah, you made wrestling a lot of fun. So when we were in Columbus, doing our thing, Coach Anger was able to step up. He was at that level, a really high level of wrestling, did so much for our program. Holy crap! So we were like in the best hands ever when we were here in Nelsonville training. Of course, the Anger family. He attracted other people, the McLaughlins, the Hooks, like all these really good wrestlers that led to us having the really epic team as I was a freshman coming in. So I had like these epic juniors and seniors, my brother, all these upperclassmen just taking me in like so easily and like effortlessly, like high level wrestlers. And Coach Anger did a great job putting that together, so thank you so much for that, Coach. And Andy Shine isn't here tonight, I don't think, but I want to say thank you to Coach Shine. He was, he didn't get too many words in over Coach Anger, but like he was there as a grounded coach. He was there as a grounded coach, so I really appreciate you, Coach Shine, for all that. And I would definitely say thank you to my wrestling team. A lot of us, like when I was a senior, by the time I was a senior in wrestling, a lot of my team were just like, I had Colby Anger on the team, taking wrestling super serious his whole life, but most of our team was just like, they did wrestling for fun, like it was a hobby, but that wasn't a choice here at Nelsonville. Like you were in wrestling and it was like, not easy. Coach put you through a lot of things, so if it was just a hobby, you kind of just didn't make it through the team week 3. But the ones that stuck with us, like they made it so much fun. Like Connor, Meeks, some of you are here, Donovan, Cole. So thank you to all the team that I had, making wrestling a lot of fun, going to these tournaments, making it not so serious. That was amazing. I appreciate that more than you know. Kind of taking the edge off expectations. I already said thank you to Grandpa, but I want to say thank you again. He literally was coming to most of our practices, football practices, wrestling practices, almost every day of the week. Don't know how you did that. That's amazing. Good for you. I appreciate the love so much. If I'm forgetting anyone, just know I'm thanking you from far, and I love you. We flew out here all the way from Guatemala. We've been living in Mexico for 4 years, and then we had a Guatemalan chapter. We just bought a property out there, so we've been there for a whole year, and we have not been in the States at all in a while, so it's so good to be back home, seeing all these familiar faces, seeing family, everybody meeting the baby. So amazing. Oh my gosh, so grateful. So thank you to everyone. If I did say your name, thank you, and I love you. And I had a few stories in mind that I was going to possibly share. I will bring up one, though, because Coach Anger mentioned it on the video there, which my one loss, my senior year. I am so grateful for that loss. It was like the best match of my life, actually. His name was Alex Marinelli. He was ranked #1 in the nation, 4-time state champ. He went on to wrestle for Iowa. He's just a killer, and he beat the crap out of me for 6 minutes. And yes, I was good, right? He beat the crap out of me for 6 minutes. The scoreboard didn't show it, but he really did, and he put it on me. It was like a ringer I've never been in before in my life. And it was towards the end of the season, so it was like 2 matches before we started our postseason, sectionals, districts, and states. So it was just like the last, one of our last tournaments. And I'm like, holy crap, I got this guy in my bracket. Senior year, haven't lost, been kicking the crap out of everyone all year long, and I just knew I was in for the battle of my life. And again, he ended up beating me up. Like, first 20 seconds in, I'm like bloody nose, like, Coach is like, you good, man? Like, he really put me through it. After that match, though, if it wasn't for that match, I don't know how my career would have went and my life would have went, but the ending of my wrestling season was perfect because of that match. He just immediately rose my bar, like, I don't know how to explain it, but when you're a wrestler, when you feel different hands put on you, it just immediately makes you step up and you're like, whoa, there's that level out there. So once you went back to practice, it was just like, I was like exposed to a different level. And it just changed how my whole attitude for the rest of that season. It like took the edge off of me for the rest of my season, quit worrying about it so much. And by the time I went to the state tournament, I was just ready. We were gung-ho. We were killer mindset, and it was amazing. So the thing with that I want to share is, whatever you're doing in life, it helped me out so much to just expose yourself to the highest levels that you can. Whether it's like, we make content now, we do a lot of these things for retreats, we're with a lot of people, and everything I do now, we just surround ourselves by the highest level of people doing the same exact thing, and it just speeds up everything. So it opens you up to a world of possibilities you didn't know was there. It lets you know what you can tap into in yourself, all the things. But it's so many different ways. But my one life lesson from that was getting beat up. That one loss my senior year was like, the match I look back to most. I'm most grateful for that because it helped me in life. Now I have a beautiful wife and daughter, everything's going great, and I keep that mindset with me everywhere, and I just try to surround myself by the best people possible, whatever I'm doing, and it has worked so freaking great. So I appreciate you all for being here, sharing your love, your time. Mucho bendiciones. Many blessings.
Jeromy Sheets is another 2015 graduate of Nelsonville-York High School. During his time as a Buckeye, Jeromy earned 9 varsity letters, 4 in track and field, 3 in football, and 2 in basketball, establishing himself as another versatile and dynamic Buckeye athlete. Nicknamed Speedy at a young age, he lived up to that moniker throughout his high school career. He was a 4-year letterman in track and field, competing across a wide range of events and consistently ranking among the top performers in program history. By the end of his career, Jeromy had left his mark on nearly every relay he ran. He was part of the 4x8, 4x2 relay teams that recorded the second fastest times in school history, the 4x4 relay that ranks 4th all time, and the 4x1 relay that still sits 5th. Individually, he holds the 3rd fastest 400 meter in school history. In basketball, Jeromy was a 2-year varsity contributor whose impact often went beyond the box score. Known as one of the team's most reliable defensive players, he used his speed, anticipation, and relentless effort to disrupt opposing guards and limit scoring opportunities. His presence was felt every time he stepped on the court. It was on the football field, though, where his legacy would be cemented. By the time he graduated from NY, he would become one of the most impactful receivers in Buckeye history, leaving our school as its all-time leading receiver. Jeromy began his varsity career as a sophomore, earning a starting role in the secondary. In his first season, he recorded 21 tackles, 11 pass breakups, 5 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions. As a junior, he expanded his role to both sides of the ball, and his production rose to another level. Defensively, he totaled 41 tackles, 12 pass breakups, 2 forced fumbles, 2 recoveries, and 2 interceptions. Offensively, he emerged as a dangerous playmaker, catching 32 passes for 475 yards while averaging 14.8 yards per reception. He also contributed as a runner, adding 194 rushing yards. His breakout season earned him first team All-Tri-Valley Conference, first team All-District, and honorable mention All-State recognition. His senior season saw him excel as one of the greatest two-way players in the region and in Buckeye history. He continued to shut down opposing passing attacks, finishing again with 44 tackles, 12 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and another forced fumble recovery. His performance earned him Tri-Valley Conference Most Valuable Player honors. On the offensive side, Jeromy delivered one of the greatest receiving seasons in Nelsonville-York history. He recorded 35 receptions for 964 yards and 11 touchdowns, averaging an astounding 26.6 yards per catch. Nearly every touch had the potential to change a game, and many of them did. He also added 188 rushing yards and another touchdown, continuing to showcase his versatility as both a receiver and runner in the Buckeye offense. By the end of his career, Jeromy Sheets had rewritten the Nelsonville-York record books. He finished with 1,517 career receiving yards, 71 receptions, and multiple school records that still stand today, including most receiving yards in a season, most receiving touchdowns in a season, most receiving yards in a game, and highest yards per reception in a season. His 27.54 career yards per reception also remains atop the Buckeye record book. Defensively, he set the school record for most pass breakups in a career, most pass breakups in a season, and most pass breakups in a single game, along with tying multiple turnover-related records. At the end of his senior season, Jeromy was named First Team All-Tri-Valley Conference, First Team All-District, and Third Team All-State. In 2020, he was selected to the Nelsonville-York football All-Decade Team of the 2010s as both a first-team receiver and a first-team quarterback, an honor reserved for the most complete players in Buckeye football history. Whether on the track, the basketball court, or the football field, Jeromy Warren's career was defined by speed, playmaking ability, and a rare level of two-way dominance. His name remains firmly etched throughout the record books, and his legacy stands as one of the most explosive and versatile in Nelsonville-York athletic history.
Being Jeremy Gordon, on the Harrison best player playing football, I remember we always had to do fun runs where we would have to run around the field. No matter what, he was always the first one. He was just the quickest person. Other than that, I really don't know how. I don't know who gave him the nickname. I don't know how he got the nickname. And from that point on, he was just known as Speedy.
He went by Speedy when we were in elementary school. He was always somebody that he looked up to because he worked on and off the field and trying to be a better person and a better athlete and somebody you could chase after.
He's always been one of those guys that you wanted to go out and wanted to perform for him.
Jeromy was the type that he was the first one in the gym in the morning class, last one to leave. He always was above and beyond. We were kind of taught that way though. You were taught that if you were going to be a starter and a captain, that's what you needed to do. You needed to be a leader on the field, and then when you got to school, you were a leader around the hallways.
Before we had those leadership roles when we were little, we didn't think about that. I just always felt like he was one of those guys that I idolized and looked up to a lot.
And going into his senior year, we really got a connection. Him and another Hall of Fame inductee, Dakota Mays, worked that whole summer before. We'd go to Canton, Ohio, every weekend, both days, and they'd stay the night at my house all week. It was just kind of like a cohort of quarterback and receiver, and we worked our way together, and he had a really great senior year.
Speedy's work ethic was just outrageous. 365 days a year, and he was in the weight room. He was so set on just being the best athlete that he could possibly be. Like us on the outside, watching, it was almost completely natural to him. I mean, don't get me wrong, he would go out and he would work his tail off. Man, it was just almost unfair how natural it came to him.
Jeromy's work ethic was incredible. I think he led in work ethic off the field and leadership on the field and trying to show what Buckeye football is about.
I remember countless times our senior year, he gave us a heck of a speech to warm us up, but then he would then say that was at halftime. Right after halftime, he'd give that big speech, and he would go out and he would make this crazy play, and it would just get us all hyped up. I mean, he made all these plays and made all these speeches, but he knew exactly when our team needed them.
Jeromy was probably more laid back going into a game. He kind of was relaxed going into it, which I think helped him a lot. It was more, let's get in and get the work done, but he very much so played loose, and I think you could see that in how he ran his routes and how he carried himself throughout the game. He wasn't thinking about everything he was doing. He was reacting and playing Buckeye football.
He'd get amped up and pumped up. When it came to the game, he was just this cool, calm, collected. It was almost like he had the whole thing planned out, and he knew exactly how it was going to go in his mind. And he would go out, he would capitalize on everything that he knew that he could do.
I think Jeromy will be remembered as a good leader and probably the greatest Nelsonville receiver in Nelsonville history.
He was just one of the most naturally gifted athletes. If you weren't there to experience him, I just don't think they'll ever comprehend. You can go back and watch all the plays and all the videos. I don't think it'll ever do it justice because they don't show all the work that he put in. They don't show all the stuff that he did to be as good as he was.
He kind of encompasses everything that Nelsonville football is about. He worked on and off the field. Coming as a receiver at Nelsonville-York, you got to, back in that era, you had to know that you weren't going to get the ball on every down, but he went out, walked, did what he needed to do, and then also came up with 900 yards going in his senior season. So he still worked at it every down and kind of represented Nelsonville football. Congratulations, there's nobody more deserving of it.
You are the epitome of Nelsonville-York sport. There is
There's no one that deserves it more. Yeah, I'm not surprised you got in by any means. I knew you would. We as a team are so proud of you, and I'm so glad we're still able to hang out with our busy schedules, but our families are close. I'm just super proud of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present for induction into the Nelsonville-York Athletic Hall of Fame, Mr. Jeromy Waring.
I do have a speech. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or not. I might copy Daniel and Dakota a little bit here. First off, I'd like to thank the committee. They put in a lot of time, effort, all the videos they put together. It's just awesome. Bring back the cherished moments of Buckeye community, the plays from the past and soon to be future. I mean, Nate's putting up videos probably from last year right now. First off, I'd like to thank my sisters. It'd be hard to believe, but I have a sister that's 4 years older, sister 3 years older. I'm glad that they chose to do Biddy League cheerleading. I was young, got forced to go down to Poly Field. I don't know if you guys know Poly Field or not, but it's a very neat atmosphere. You go up over the hill crest, across some railroad tracks, and there'll be people just parked everywhere on a Sunday, Saturday, whenever the games were. I know I sat on the old concrete bleachers when they were cheering, and I would just beg my mom. I wasn't watching them cheer, I can tell you that. I was watching football. I told my mom I wanted to play. She kept going down asking the coach. I was too young. Before I knew it, I was able to play. I was second grade. I'd like to thank the coaches for the youth football. Not only did they coach, but they actually wanted to be there and coach. So I'm thankful for that. Next is my mom. I'd like to thank my mom. She's here tonight, like she always was. She showed up, she showed out. For a boy that was obsessed with sports at a young age, she always followed me everywhere. She raised one great kid and then two okay kids. I'm the great one, so you guys know that. And then I'd like to thank my quarterbacks. So I had two quarterbacks. Cole Adams is here tonight, Hunter Edwards. They had trust in me, so they honestly see the way I worked. Thank you for the kind words, Hunter. I appreciate it. The way they would just kind of read me, I don't know how they did it. It was just natural to them. It was like, he's going to be open this play, and they just throw the ball, and by God, I was open. I really don't want to bring this up because I'll probably start tearing up. I'd like to thank my dad. He's not here with us tonight. He passed away of cancer in 2025. He really taught me how to be tough. And that's something else when you're in football, you need to be tough. My dad never played football. He was not an athlete. But he knew that I wanted to play the game, and he was going to be there to support me no matter what. As I got older, I realized why he wanted me to be tough. He used to always ask me, are you going to be my third daughter? Or are you going to be my son? You need to man up a little bit. Toughness is what he showed me all through life. I knew he was tough, but when watching him battle cancer, he showed me what real toughness was about. He showed me what never giving up was. He always told me, every day you are fighting to win a battle with yourself, even if it was something simple. I was scared to show any weakness or pain at any moment because he'd throw out his famous line, "You're built cheap." I hated that saying. My mom took my uncle in. I was in probably third grade. He's here tonight, Daniel Rudder. It's her middle brother. She has a big family. I think you guys know the Rudder family around here. She took him in. He was in high school, and I always begged him, like, let's go play ball. Let's go play ball. And I'm sure I annoyed him. 100% annoyed him. He'd go out, he'd play with me. He roughed me up a little bit. I loved it. There's something about it. I like being roughed up. made me tough. Like I said, toughness. I always liked when his friends came over from school because he'd show off and he'd be like, look at this kid, watch this. He'd make me run halfway down the walk. And he'd just throw the ball real far and make me catch it. Or he'd punt it. Or he'd tell me to punt it back just so I show off my left leg. I'm right-handed but left-legged. Don't ask why. I don't know. So I'd like to thank Daniel for being not only an uncle, but it was like having an older brother. Another person is Colt Adams. He's here tonight as well. The Adams family. Colt did have an older brother. He wasn't in the household, so I saw the opening. I had 2 older sisters, so I was like, I want to run around with Colt in the summer. I could have someone throw me a ball around, we could play one-on-one, we could swim. It looked like a good time. So Colt, thank you. To your mom and dad, thank you as well. Always had an open door for me, not only in elementary school, but high school too. We played ball together, a lot of summer ball. Another great athlete, Madison. She played ball with us in junior high before we hit high school. She was on our Gusmacher team. She might have played AAU for us. She did play 6th grade basketball with us. So thank you. We won some championships because of you. I'd like to thank all the upperclassmen. When I hit high school, the upperclassmen were very talented. If you listen to any old Hall of Fame speeches, a lot of them's inducted. Tonight, Daniel Kline's one. Dustin Young's been inducted. Derek Arnold. Just watching them guys. If I could give any advice as a young player, we go to games on Friday night. I'd go with Colt, and we would watch the game. If I had any advice to any youth player, is to watch the game. You have plenty of time to play when you get home, but you'll learn the game of football by watching and learning and what the coaches want done. So we did that. I'd sit and watch every game. I'd pick up on players. I'd have role models. And then freshman year hit, and some of the role models were still there. So I'd definitely like to thank the upperclassmen for guiding us the way. They take us under their wing. 2 days, take us to Buds. I've been to B-Dubs with Nate a few times, and not his sister, just Nate. Inside joke. I did play wingback in high school, so I grew up playing running back. When I hit high school, they was like, yeah, you're going to wingback. You're going to get hurt because you're pretty skinny. So we need you to catch the football if you can, use that speed. So I did move to wingback, and I ran plays in and out. This is the storytelling now. Ran plays in and out. If you know the Bostons, we all know the Bostons. So I'd go over, and he'd be like, what looks good? It'd be like 3rd and 16. You guys know what play I picked. I didn't want benched. I picked pitch 18. He said, you're crazy. We ain't run pitch 18. Then he'd run the pass play. So I didn't call the play. He did. Also, Coach McLaughlin. He was a substitute teacher in gym class my freshman year. We used to throw the ball around the gym, and he yelled at me. He's like, come here. I was like, I was scared. I was like, oh, what'd I do? So I go over to him, and he said, what position do you play? I told him, I was like, I run the ball a little bit, but maybe it's a wing back. He said, I know what a wing back is. And he said, I see you toss the ball around. I said, yeah. He said, next time you catch it, tuck it. I never forget that. I still, if I'm warming up with the quarterbacks now, I coach now, help out, I catch it and tuck it, because I'm scared that he might be watching, someone might tell on me, I don't know. But again, the coaches, I want to thank so much from the youth level to all the way up to high school. Jay Kline's here tonight. He preached backpedal, turn, cushion. I still remember it now. Sometimes I might take 2 steps back and I'm like, I need to drop them hips a little lower. Really thankful. I have a boy now. He's a year and he's 17 months, so a year and a half. There's one thing I can tell him, and he's not going to grow up and be built cheap, so I can tell you that. Thank everyone for being here. Like I said, honored. It's crazy to be here. I can't believe I'm that old now, to be honest. Congrats to all the other 2026 Hall of Famers. It's awesome to be inducted with all of you. Jeromy, I know you spell your name a little different than mine, but hey, we both got in, so we're here together. But again, I'm the last one to speak, so we're just going to end it. Go Bucks.
Inductees, don't forget, we'll meet at 6:20 at the end zone closest to the school. You'll meet Coach Kline tomorrow at 6:20, and we'll announce you at approximately 6:30. Don't forget also, inductees, that right after I'm done speaking, which will be real quick, we want to get a group picture up here. And once again, make sure we thank Miss Christy Poling for that great meal we had tonight. Inductees of our class of Hall of Fame tonight, would you please rise? Prior inductees into the Nelsonville-York Athletic Hall of Fame, please rise. 2026 class of the Nelsonville-York Athletic Hall of Fame, welcome. That concludes our evening. Thank you all for coming. Don't forget, you guys beat that team over the hill tomorrow night. Hope you can all be there. Thanks for coming, everyone. Inductees, if you'll come up front right now, we'll get that group picture.